Alright, so one wisdom from the Rebbe for today. So concerning the war of Chanukah, the Rambam holds that the war itself is on the 25th of Kislev. Others say it was on the 24th. But the Rambam holds that on the 25th of Kislev itself, there was a big massive war, followed by they came into the Beis Hamikdash and they were able to find a jug of oil to be able to burn throughout the 8 days of Chanukah. And on this they established a holiday. So that means that according to the Rambam, there are two different accomplishments. There was number one, the accomplishment of the war, and number two, there was the idea of finding a jug of oil. And therefore the holiday was established on the very day that the war took place. Now that's unlike Purim, whereby Purim, the war was on the 13th of Adar, yet the celebrations are only on the 14th of Adar. The difference for this is because by Chanukah, the accomplishment was about the very fact that Jewish people were able to go to war, that they were a minority fighting against a majority, and yet the war itself is a miracle. As opposed to Purim, by Purim the main point was the fact that Jewish people were saved. The war itself wasn't such a miracle. It was all included within nature. And therefore by Purim we don't celebrate the actual war, but rather the fact that the Jewish people were saved the next day. Now Chanukah is more similar to the idea of Pesach, where on Pesach as well, there was the idea of the Jewish people escaping Mitzrayim, yet at the same time the Egyptians were punished. And that's like these two ideas which happened in these two different ideas on the same day. The difference being that by Chanukah was still two different time zones. There was one stage of winning the war, and only then there was a miracle of finding the oil. As opposed to by Pesach was at the same exact time, that as Hashem was punishing the Egyptians, he was also redeeming the Jewish people. So it comes out that there's three different levels in revelation of godliness. There was a revelation of godliness by Purim, where by Purim there was a revelation which was only a prerequisite, a preparation in order to have the main salvation. By Chanukah, there was two different revelations of godliness. There was a revelation by the war, and then there was another revelation when it came to the jug of oil. But they were on two different levels, even though they were at the same time. And by Pesach, it was two revelations of God in the same exact way. This is also true in every person's life. By every person's life, he has a little bit of bad within him which he has to refine. Now, there's three different ways to be able to go about that. One way is that you actually have to be able to work and get rid of the bad within you, because a person's holding on a level where he actually does sins. He's actually connected to real bad, and therefore he has to be able to totally remove it, and only then the next day can he start working. That's one level, like Purim. The next way is that he's doing it in a way where he has to remove the bad, but he doesn't actually have sins within him. He just has a natural existence, which he has, which is separate from godliness. So he has to remove that and start serving God. So it's automatic. As soon as he has one, he can then accomplish the other. But it's still two different steps, like Chanukah, where two different steps on the same day. And then there's the idea of Pesach, which is somebody who has all the revelations at the same time. He's just serving God. Whether that means doing good or not doing bad, it's fully about just serving God whatever he desires, and therefore it's both revelations in the same way, a revelation of God himself and being fully nullified to him. L'chaim, l'chaim.